Hey everyone, welcome to my home circuits project. Today I'm joined by my special guest, my dog Blue, and he wants to show you all of his favorite home appliances and how he's planning on finding the most economical way to store his treats and toys. Enjoy! Blue's three favorite appliances in the home are the fridge and freezer. They're both like one device because it holds all of his food. Two, the microwave and the oven because that's how he heats up the food. And three, the dryer because he likes to steal dryer balls and he thinks they're very fun toys to play with. So let's go. A little note about the rates is that we pay a two-tier system, which means, for example, in the month of October, we had a specific rate for everything under, or the first 375 kilowatt hours, and everything over 375 kilowatt hours was a different rate. So for this video, I will be using these over 375 kilowatt hour rates from October because I think that would be the most accurate to what it's going to be in November when making this video. Blue's first favorite home appliance is the dryer because he likes to steal dryer balls from the dryer and rip them to parts and shreds. So he thinks the dryer is one big toy. And to start analyzing this, I opened up the dryer and looked inside to this label to look for the model number, which I then found online to find the voltage and the amps. So I will now show you the calculations now. So to start off with the dryer, I took the model number that was on the sticker on the inside of the dryer and typed it into Google and found the model of the dryer online, which made it really easy for me to find the amps and the voltage because it's listed out in the description like it shows here. With that, I did P equals IV, power is equal to I, which is current, times V, which is voltage. So 30 amps times 240 volts is equal to 7,200 watts, or dividing by 1,000, 7.2 kilowatts. Now, the point of this was because my dog wanted to know how much it would cost to run each appliance for 2 hours to see what was the most economically money efficient way of, keeping his enjoyment up with his food and his toys. So to see how much it would cost to run the dryer for 2 hours, I plugged it into this formula. Kilowatt hours is equal to the watts multiplied by the number of hours divided by 1,000. Plugging all those numbers in, you get kilowatt hours is equal to 7,200 watts times 2 hours divided by 1,000, which is equal to 14.4 kilowatt hours. Then I plugged it into the equation. Kilowatt hours multiplied by your rate is equal to the amount that it's going to cost to run your appliance for that amount of time. I plugged in the numbers, 14.4 kilowatt hours multiplied by my rate, $0.1703468 per kilowatt hour, which gets me $2.45-ish cents. This leads me to my dog's next favorite home appliance, which is the fridge and the freezer, which are combined into one device or one appliance, because this is where all of his food comes from. Like the cheese that I'm using him to help me with this video, that's where all of that comes from, so he really likes it. I will now explain how the fridge works. Up next, we have the fridge/freezer. Just like the dryer, I went into the fridge and found a sticker that was on the inside behind the door. This gave me the model number, which took me to their website, and I was able to easily find the amps and the voltage for the fridge and the freezer. Because the fridge and the freezer are one appliance, I'm just going to do the calculations for both of them being like one singular appliance instead of trying to divide it up and find the fridge amps and fridge voltage versus freezer amps and voltage. So again, I did power is equal to current times voltage to get 15 times 120, which got me 1,800 watts or 1.8 kilowatts. Plugging these numbers into the kilowatt hours equation that I used earlier, I get 1,800 times 2 divided by 1,000, which gets me 3.6 kilowatt hours. Plugging this into the final equation that I used, I get 3.6 kilowatt hours times my rate, $0.1703468 per kilowatt hour, is equal to $0.613244848, which is just rounded 61 cents. Finally, this is the third of my dog's favorite home appliances. It is the microwave/oven because he thinks that all the human food that's cooked in here is for him, and sometimes he gets to have a little taste, which is why it's one of his favorites. So I will now explain how the microwave and the oven work. Finally, I repeated this process for a third time for the microwave/oven, and similar to the fridge, my microwave and oven are actually one appliance, so instead of trying to figure out the amps and the voltage for specifically the microwave and specifically the oven, I just calculated them as one appliance. So I did the same thing. I opened up the microwave and found the model number on the inside, and I put this into Google and found the appliance online, which made it really easy to find the amps and the voltage. It's listed as 40 amps and 240 volts. So I used the power is equal to current times voltage, so 40 times 240, to get 9,600 watts or 9.6 kilowatts. To find kilowatt hours, I plugged it into the equation again. 9,600 times 2 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 19.2 kilowatt hours. Then I plugged it in again into the final equation. 19.2 kilowatt hours times my rate, $0.1703468 per kilowatt hour, is equal to $3.27 rounded for 2 hours. So Blue is here to show you the circuit breaker. And through some research, we found that our electric company is Puget Sound Energy, and we have a 2-tier rate system actually, which means we don't just have one rate, we have 2 rates. What Blue is trying to tell you is that through our research, we found out the type of billing cycle that we're on. We're billed every 32 days, and the cycle tends to start in the middle of one month and ends in the next month, which means that since we're in a two-tier rate system, we actually have 4 rates that we have to take into account for in one billing cycle. Something that me and Blue noticed while we were looking at our circuit breaker was that some of our circuits only correspond to a singular object instead of a room. Some of these examples include circuits 2 and 4 corresponding to the wall oven, 6 and 8 for the hot tub, and 16 for the furnace, and 24 for the washer, and 28 and 30 for the heat pump, which is pretty cool. So, based off all these calculations, Blue has come to the decision that the fridge is the best option to keep all of his food in and, the best way to keep himself entertained because it is the cheapest appliance out of his 3 favorites to run for 2 hours, which means I owe him a lot more cheese.